Joe Vonnerschmidt with Century 21 Results. Go with Joe and Co. And I'm here for a special live episode. I know we're typically live Monday mornings or Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m., but we're here live for a special episode of A Cup of Joe this morning, Monday morning at 9 a.m. with our special guest, Kyle Seyboth, the #1 individual realtor in the United States. Super happy to have Kyle on board with us this morning. Kyle, thank you for taking the time.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you coming on the show.
Yes, sir. No problem. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So if you can't tell by hearing Kyle talk, he's from the New England area. He's got a little bit of an accent there. But I'm sure he probably says the same thing about me being here in the Atlanta area. So, Kyle, first off, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, like you said, a local realtor here in New England, specifically Rhode Island and Massachusetts. For those of you that don't know, Rhode Island is probably the smallest state you'd ever encounter. You could drive from one end to the other in 45 minutes. Massachusetts is neighboring, so we do a lot in both states. The nice thing about where we are is it's easy to commute and back and forth, and easy to really have access to a lot of cities and towns within our state. Been a licensed realtor for 10 years, was with Keller Williams prior to Century 21. The last 9 years was with Keller Williams. This year we started with Century 21 in July. Opened the brokerage, continue to sell as my own as an independent realtor, and then opened the brokerage. And now as a brokerage, we have over 140 agents. Was the #1 agent with KW for 4 years in a row or 5 years in a row. And then also #1 in Wall Street Journal for the last 2 years. So
That's
just
over
been selling like crazy.
Yeah, 500 plus units, 500 plus houses every single year. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so you said you've been in the business. This is your 9th year or 10th year?
This is 10. So
Okay.
2021 was 10.
Okay, gotcha. So how did you get in the business, Kyle?
Got into the business really on accident. Had a love and passion for real estate, but never really understood how to monetize that. So started out buying a multifamily, bought a 4-unit, and saw that and liked it. It was interesting, right? So on the investment side, was able to get a 4-unit and able to start to build a portfolio. But then one thing that hit me was I said, okay, I have this agent helping me, and I saw on the CD or the whatever they called it back of the HUD back in the day. I was like, hold on, how much did this woman make? And she barely didn't. She didn't really do much. I'm like, I did like everything. So I was like, how much did she make? And I saw the check, and I said, pump the brakes here for a minute. I can do that. Like I can do that. I know people. I know real estate. I can do that. So let me try to get this license and maybe do 1 or 2 deals a year just for some extra money. At the time, it was to go on vacation. Hey, I'd have a couple extra bucks I can use and go on vacation. I was still working full time at the time. So that's how I got into it. Now, thankfully, the woman that helped me, she was at Remax before and then turned over to Keller Williams. And the nice thing about that was Remax had high fees. So I couldn't afford the fees at the time. They were like $500 a month. So for me, I needed to go somewhere that had a low monthly fee that made it more affordable. So that was something that was important.
Good deal. So you were at KW for 9 years, and then now you just almost a year ago now you opened up your Century 21 franchise.
Yeah, it's been about a year. Yep.
Yeah.
So a year ago, we opened up. We made the transition from KW over here, and I think it's been a great move. I think we've got it's a nice brand recognition. There's a lot of tools, a lot of support, a lot of things that are helping us kind of get to that next level. And it's the ability to have autonomy to produce, to provide, and to work as a broker, whichever way I feel is fitting.
Right. That's awesome. That's good stuff right there. So I know when I went up to go visit you in December, I believe it was, I asked you, I said, Kyle, you sell over 500 houses a year. Surely you don't meet with every single one of those clients individually. Surely you have support people, which of course you do have support people, but surely you're not actually meeting with every single one of those people, especially because a lot of your business is buyers.
And the answer is I do.
Yeah. So tell me, yeah, which is crazy, but tell me a little bit about what your typical day looks like.
Yeah, I mean, so to start with the buyer-seller mix, it's probably 60-40 seller-buyer. And I think the reason for that is the sellers, you can leverage more, right? So there's much easier to handle a seller than a buyer. So buyers, you can spin a lot of wheels and not have as much results. I think the typical day, I typically get in the office around 6:30, 7. Allows me to get in, kind of get the day situated, catch up on anything from the night before, handle emails, handle texts, handle anything that needs to be addressed. I love to start the day when I know I'm started with no emails. All my emails are answered, everything for all my follow-ups already monitored and put into today's calendar so I know what to follow up on today, and I can start with a clean slate. I
Hmm.
usually meet with my staff around 8:45 to get them situated and then make sure everyone's in line and everyone knows what the schedule looks like. We look out 3 days on our schedule to make sure there's no overlaps. If anything needs to be changed, we'll make the changes. And then from there, I'm on the road in and out of appointments, whether it's with buyers, with sellers, with centers of influence, on meetings, on new business ventures from 9 o'clock in the morning, typically till 7:38 at night, in and out, in and out, in and out all day long.
And then when you get back to the office, I know at least when I met with you, whenever we got done meeting, having dinner, or whatever, you went back to the office and catching up on paperwork or whatever. So
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the night, it's kind of like that catch up, right? So you're during the day, you're in the weeds, and then you're on the business at night. So it's a function of being able to kind of take everything and recap it at night.
right. And guys, for anybody here watching, just wanted to remind you guys, if you guys have any questions for Kyle or myself, be sure to comment. We'll get your any questions that you have answered, whether it's live or we'll circle back around with you. And be sure to let us know that you're here watching. We can't see who's here watching, so be sure to comment. Let us know that you're here, tuned in, and we really appreciate the support. So, Kyle, next question that I have for you: number one realtor, what makes you different from everybody else?
I would say there's a couple things. Number one is, and I use this term, but I think it's important you understand it, the ability to be a chameleon.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is the ability to work with folks of all different sorts of life,
Mm-hmm.
um, every different socioeconomic background, race, sexuality, any person from any spectrum. I can find a way to relate to because of the background that I've had over the last 38 years and kind of my upbringing where I've been really diverse. I've been in a very diverse background, so it's been super helpful for the environment I'm in. Number two, I think, is a tenacity um, to succeed and to be great, right? So a lot of people can get complacent. Like, let's say I did 100 transactions. At some point, that may build a level of complacency. But I think with me, it doesn't do that. So what happens with me is at the end of the day, I always want to do better. I always want to improve. I always look at things and say, I'm probably my biggest critic, right? So that's the next piece. And then finally is the ability to listen.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to every client. I listen to all my staff. I listen to people that I come across all day, and I hear them. I listen to them, and I implement changes that need to be made. So it's not a one size fits all situation. It's a function of understanding that by listening to what things can be better, that's the only way you're going to make them better, and by making a change and adjustment.
Right. That's good stuff. Um, so going for that, you said you're never complacent with where you're at. What's next for you, and what's the end goal?
So next is really to build up, obviously on the sales piece, right? To continue to, I think of it like almost like a Jordan type era, right? Where you look at it and you say, okay, I'm going to tell you when I'm going to step down or when I'm going to pull back, right? And what I mean by that is continue to sell at a super high level,
Mhm.
continue to become, to maintain that echelon of, top 10 in the country or whatever that looks like. But at the same time, transition the brokerage to becoming a powerhouse and getting that 140, 150 agents to double to 300. And then on top of that, to really work on the coaching platform and to build that up to be one of the top coaching programs in the country, not only for just Century 21, but I think for all the agents throughout the world.
Right, because you've just started your coaching program, right, and your real estate school.
Correct. So we started a coaching program. We're in conjunction with Century 21 right now, doing a lot of work. It's an 8-week program and really fine tuning it, trying to get it better every single week and trying to get myself better, projecting it and allowing people to learn and become really better agents to increase their production. And then the real estate school should be getting started this week, with pre-licensed agents that are looking to get licensed and come on and join a brokerage.
Now, is that just for the state of Rhode Island and Massachusetts, or is that what's the plan with that?
The school right now is just Rhode Island and Mass.
Uh huh.
So Rhode Island, Massachusetts. Over time, we'll see where that goes to.
Right.
But I think right now, that's if we looked at priority of kind of goals, one would be maintaining that sales record. Two would be continuing to grow the brokerage, and then three would be the school.
Okay. Good deal. So I know it's a tough market. I mean, I know I get the comment all the time right now, hey, it must be super nice to be a realtor. The market is so hot that you must be just breaking in, which reality is, I mean, it's a tough market just because it's so hard to get people in house. It's hard to keep buyers on the hook.
Hmm.
Losing out on properties is a super common thing, whereas you used to be able to write offers, get them in the house, pretty much if we wrote an offer 80% of the time we're going to be able to work out that
Correct.
offer. Uh, now it's tough. You're having to go over asking, and it's tough to get buyers in the door, and then tough to keep them on the hook. So, what do you see as the projection, your market projection over here over the next couple of years or so?
So I think the market projection that I have right now really is at the end of the day, we're going to be in this tight inventory market for the next year. And I think the reason being is you have so many buyers, rates are so low, and demand is so high that it's going to take so much inventory to shift the spread from a seller's market into a buyer's market. So I think that's going to take at least a year to kind of work its way through the system. And then I think after a year, you're going to start to see foreclosures hit the market. You're going to start to see people that are on forbearance. They're going to start to get in a position where they're going to have to do a short sale or a foreclosure as well. You'll start to see more auctions come off a moratorium, and then you'll see people panic. And what I mean by that is the potential sellers now that are putting it off will start to panic sell because they don't want to miss the boat. They don't want to sell when the market's totally on its back. So I think the supply will start to hit between the next 12 to 24 months. But
Mhm.
until then, we're going to be in a really tight inventory market where buyers are going to have to continue to be fatigued and frustrated.
Right, and I think I wanna really hit on something that you said there. So right now we're super tight inventory, just because we're gonna start to see the foreclosures and those maybe people selling because they get spooked and they don't want to get caught with their pants down or anything. I think that'll actually be good for the market in a way because we need inventory. I don't think it's going to totally flop like we saw back in, '08, where we had an incredible amount of inventory, way too much inventory. I think right now, just to even get back to a, balanced market inventory wise, it's going to take a lot of inventory to get there.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's a good thing. The inventory is not going to push pricing down. It's
Hmm.
just going to help make the market more balanced, and
Right.
that to me has value, right? So we really need to get this market much more balanced because right now the imbalance is so great. It's going to take a ton of inventory to get us to where we need to be. So those foreclosures are going to help the low end, which is what we need. We need that low end to come back.
Right. So maybe just price is going to hold steady. It just inventory is going to level things out a little bit, which is going to make it a little bit, if you're a buyer, going to be a little bit easier to get in the door, not be so competitive. So my next question is, Kyle, I know I have a lot of people that reach out to me saying, hey, I'm looking at getting into the business. What advice would you give me? Because I know you got into the business at first part-time, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to a brand new realtor in the business?
So my first question, I get this all the time, right? You get it all the time. I get it all the time. Like my first question is why?
Hmm.
What is your reason? And
Hmm.
I want to hear your answer to that before I give you an answer. And the reason is a lot of people get in for the wrong reason. And the wrong reason is chasing money, right? If you're just getting into this to chase money, it's not that's not the right reason, right? So you've got to have some sort of, you know, in my opinion, your passion either has to be for real estate. There's got to be something there that's driving you towards real estate. There's got to be some sort of passion towards helping people and some sort of passion towards being an entrepreneur. And I think if you have one of those three, then that's a good reason. But if your reason is I want to make more money and have more flexibility and have more time to do things for myself, I don't think that's a good reason. It's hard to resonate with people that have that mindset because I think you're doing it for the wrong reason. And I think at the end of the day, when you do something for the wrong reason, it will at the end of the day, it'll probably end up in a negative and you won't be successful because you don't have the good foundation. So my first thing would be find out your why. What's your reason for doing it? And then number two If I'm brandy new, link up with the brokers that can help you understand the game first
Hmm.
before you play in it, right? Understand the ins and outs of a transaction, understands how to handle a showing, how to handle inspection, what's an appraisal, all the real world things that you can get that you can't get from the book. So at the end of the day, those are the things that I would say, hey, if I'm a newer broker, if I'm a newer an agent, that's what and also look at a team. If you want to join a team, that's a good way to get fed some leads. Yeah, your percentage is going to be lower, but again, 100% of zero is zero, whereas 50% of something is better than nothing. So I
Right.
think that's at the end of the day, it's about build your database, build your business, build your knowledge base before you're trying to make all this money. I think people go into it backwards.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think a big thing is you see a lot of brand new agents get linked up with brokerages that have the lowest fees or have the best commission splits. But at the end of the day, I think you got to look at which brokerage provides the most value, and that's not just which is the cheapest brokerage. It's who's providing the most for the money. So
Correct.
yeah,
And
that's good.
value is a big word, right? So a lot of folks don't understand how important value is. So if you can actually get value from something, I tell people this all the time. You can take everything I have, every dollar, every house, every property, everything, just take it all. Take all the material things that I have, but what you can't take is the knowledge and the blueprint. And if I have the knowledge and the blueprint to do it again, I'm unstoppable. So if you can get the value to give you the knowledge you need, that's going to help you out way more than all the stuff. The stuff is replaceable,
Hmm.
but the knowledge to get the stuff, the roadmap, that's not replaceable. Unless you wipe my whole brain out, I'm going to always be okay because I know how to get there.
Right. Right. That's awesome. So, Billy, do we have any questions from anybody that's commented? No, no questions or anything. Um, well, Kyle, if I really appreciate you guys being here. Anybody that's tuned in, I mean, an excellent opportunity to listen into this video chat with Kyle Seyboth, number one realtor. Guys, over 500 homes a year, every single year by himself, meets every single one of those people. 40 to 50 homes per month that he is selling. So incredible opportunity to learn. I know I've learned a lot from Kyle. I look up to Kyle and respect him a lot. So Kyle, thank you so much for being here for this episode of A Cup of Joe. Of course, very special episode. We got off track for a Monday morning episode just for you, but I really appreciate you making the time to meet with us.
Thanks, man, and we appreciate you, and thank you guys for having me on, and keep crushing it, man. Keep up the great work, and hopefully, you don't need that fireplace in the back. Hopefully it's warm out in Atlanta right now
Oh,
because
it's pretty
it's
warm.
pretty.
We're going to be saving that for a little bit later in the year.
All right, man. You guys
Yeah.
have a good day.
All right.
Thank you so much.
See you, Kyle. Thanks, man.
All right,
All
guys.
right. All right. Bye. Thank
Good.
you, guys. Yeah, we're good. Thank you. Guys, thank you again for tuning in for another episode of A Cup of Joe, live every single Wednesday morning at 8 a.m., except, of course, for this morning's special episode with number one agent Kyle Seyboth. If you would like a coffee mug or a t-shirt, please let me know. I'll be happy to get that to you guys. And I will see you next Wednesday for another episode of A Cup